expressed by the guest and presenters of Radio Al-Ansar are not necessarily the views and opinions of Radio Al-Ansar and the Al-Ansar Foundation.
Education's purpose is to replace an empty mind with an opened one.
Join Sumaya Khan every Tuesdays between 7 and 8 p.m. for an educational evening exclusive to Radio Al-Ansar.
Your education is a dress rehearsal for a life that is yours to lead.
School Matters with Sumaya Khan.
Tell the whole world
Masi sondele, pila no tolo, yelele.
Subhanallah walhamdulillah. Subhanallah walhamdulillah. La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar. You can say it once or 100 times or more. You feel at peace inside and it'll open every door. That's the power of remembering Allah. It's the best way to purify your heart. You know you will be loved by the merciful one. 'Cause that's the power of remembering Allah. Subhanallah walhamdulillah. La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar. Subhanallah walhamdulillah.
Assalamu alaikum. Yes, you're tuned in to School Matters. I'm Sumaya Khan, your producer and presenter, and it's my pleasure to guide you through today's program. Well, today we have an exciting topic. Artificial intelligence is taking over the world of technology, and many of us are starting to feel left behind. We'll be unpacking what AI really is, how it's changing our daily lives, and how we can keep up with this fast-moving revolution. Not all learners are out there to study. Not all learners are cut out for tertiary education, but many are tech savvy. I think every learner or every child is tech savvy. You can definitely use your AI skills for digital entrepreneurship without going to expensive institutions. While many successful entrepreneurs are self-taught, you can learn free AI and digital skills online. Focus on AI tools for content creation, marketing, and business automation. And you can pick a niche you enjoy. You can also start freelancing or selling services. Well, right now the grade 12s are towards the end of the year. They are almost done, the school year. And it's quite stressful for many because they will be choosing their career, their future profession. With so many professions becoming outdated and redundant due to technology, it's natural to feel uncertain about the future. But there's good news. Artificial intelligence can open up exciting opportunities for young people, especially those who love technology. Well, our guest this evening is Brother BILAL KATRADA, the founder of IT VARSITY. We're linking up with him all the way from Cape Town. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Well, I thought I was receiving you in studio.
Yeah, I mean, it's already coming to August and I've only been in Durban for at least 2 months of this year. So I've been traveling quite a bit.
Okay. How's the weather in Cape Town?
It's lovely weather, lovely warm weather for a change.
Making the Durbanites jealous because we are experiencing kind of cold mornings and weather. But make shukar, can't complain.
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, tell us more about, about yourself and your work and what drew you to speak to high school students, because I believe you've been going around doing seminars, workshops, talks, to the youth, especially high school learners, young adults, about their careers and AI. But tell us a little bit about you and all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I'm a school teacher, and well, I'm a software engineer by profession, but I've spent many years teaching at schools, and I saw a problem that was on the horizon at that time. This was around about 2007, 2008, that technology was becoming more and more of a big thing. And remember, this is the pre-TikTok era, the pre-AI era, and it was still the early days of technologies like Instagram. But I saw it coming, and I decided that it's time to start preparing people for careers in this technology, because there's going to be another boom. I mean, there were lots of technology booms, and so I decided to open up a little school to teach people these skills. Unfortunately, in South Africa, there hasn't been much of an uptake. As much as I've been encouraging people, I've been encouraging uh, people in our community, particularly, to get involved. There wasn't such a satisfactory uptake. But here we are. I mean, almost a decade and a half later, where technology has changed and changed again and again, and I think we're still grappling. So part of what I do is, look, I'm the founder, I'm the CEO of the company, but I have people that are running the company, and they are very competent young team that I have. So it gives me the freedom to travel the country and speak to students at schools, and that's something I love doing because I miss my teaching days. And so, speaking to young people, I get a sense of who they are, where their minds are at, what they are thinking about, what is their current state. And I must tell you, it's very, very shocking. In fact, I made a TikTok video today about just that, because I was reflecting on the week I spent in PE, and I was really thinking about what I learned from those kids, what feeling I left with, and it's shocking. So, but I think I left them with hope. I left them with a better understanding of technology, and where it's going, and what's the implications for them as human beings in their careers looking forward. So that's why I do this. I also run an entrepreneurial workshop. I did one about 3 weeks ago with the Rosh Cole event in Johannesburg, and then last week in Port Elizabeth again. Later in August, I think there's one in Durban coming up. And
And
also,
very soon you'll be coming on our Radio Ansaar School Matters seminar on
yeah, I
AI.
will be. Yeah. So I do these things to get. Look, I don't need to, but I like to hear and understand what's the state of the community. What are they thinking? What is the really the things that they don't really talk about. And I must say, Alhamdulillah, it's been very, very insightful.
The reality about university and careers, you mentioned that's, quite vast. Majority of learners, this is the harsh reality, won't enter universities or tertiary institutions. Can you tell us, why do you think it's important to say this out loud?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. It's crucially important because one of the things I noticed speaking at the schools, and mind you, I didn't go to the Muslim schools. I mean, I did speak at a Muslim school in PE, but I went to the schools that are feeling the brunt of this poverty, the challenges. I mean, they teenage pregnancies and norm. These are the kind of conditions that we are dealing with. Poverty is rife, gangsterism, drugs. And when I sit and I speak to these kids, particularly the grade 12s, I see a kind of blankness in their eyes. And after spending some time, I really, I ask them, really, what's going on? What's in your mind? And when they finally do open up, then you see the truth coming out. There's this deep hopelessness inside them. There's this deep kind of a depression that they're in the sheltered environment now, school, primary school, high school, and they're about to leave, and there's no prospects for them for the future, nothing at all. Not that there isn't, it's just that they don't know about it
So would
because
you
their whole
say,
lives. Yeah.
sorry, Mo, would you say or think that society still overemphasizes on university as the only part of success? And what are some of the most valuable alternatives to university for the youth today?
Well, that's just the point. I mean, their whole lives they've been told, just like us, just like you and I. I mean, when I was a kid, my grandmother told me the same thing. You're going to go to school, go
Teacher,
to
doctor, lawyer,
university,
lawyer, doctor, teacher.
doctor, lawyer, teacher, and it still hasn't changed. That culture is still there. And these kids, their whole lives, they've been told. Now, what happens when you face the reality that you're not going to university, either because you haven't made it academically, or you might have, but you just can't afford. Your family can't afford to send you to university. The deep that helplessness that sets in. It's a disaster. So my approach with these kids was to tell them, look, I'm not here. I'm not a motivational speaker. For one, and I'm not here to give you motivational nonsense. That's the first thing. I'm here to give you a reality check, but I'm not here to depress you. I'm here to show you that there are other avenues. If one road is closed, there are 99 other roads that are open. So in other words, if the university road is closed for you, there are a million other ways of earning a living. So I gave them the example of vocational colleges, of online learning, self-paced learning. There are a lot of people who I know who are very successful who just learned online. I spoke to them about entrepreneurship. I spoke to them about the idea that 20 or 25 years ago, if you wanted to start a business, you needed a shop, you needed premises, you needed stocks, fixtures, fitting, staff, capital. Now, with nothing more than your cell phone, you can start a very successful business. And I gave them real world examples of students of mine, of associates of mine, colleagues of mine who have done that. And when that happened, then you see their faces lighting up. You say, well, okay, so there is hope for us. And for me, that was the best thing.
You touched on vocational training and skills development. You spoke about the colleges. Can you tell us what kind of opportunities they offer, and also with our young people, our young learners, our youth, our young adults, considering a skill or trade, especially in today's economy. So are vocational careers as respected or financially rewarding as the traditional old-fashioned professional careers?
Well, not as respected, and that's just a societal thing. It's not that they are less respectful. It's just that people tend to look down because in the old days, it was this kid is not making it in school. Either he's going to Mia's farm or he's going to a trade school. That's
Or
how
they
it
get
was.
married?
Or they get married and go and stand in the shop. So that was back then. But here's the irony of modern times, that of all the careers that are under threat from AI, the trades are the safest ones, because AI is not going to replace your plumber and your electrician and your carpenter, because these people work with their hands. AI is threatening more of the knowledge based work. So much for your university degrees. I think there's going to be a new insurgence of vocational training, and vocational training has gone beyond just the trades. Beyond just what you do with your hands, the skills, motor mechanic and carpenter, plumber, as I said. It's also gone into the tech space. I mean, there are vocational software development qualifications. There are vocational qualifications in drone piloting, in robotics, in AI, in data science. It's incredible. With the launch of the QCTO in South Africa, the Quality Council for Trades and Occupations, you will be shocked at the number of high-tech careers they are in the vocational space right now. So that's the way to go. And the other thing, the advantage of vocational training, Sumaya, is that they are short, as short as maybe a year, and also they are very skills focused. So when you're done and you go into the workplace, you're hitting the ground running. You're not getting theory upon theory. That's uh, that's the thing with vocation. And as far as the the income potential goes, it's phenomenal. It's really, really phenomenal.
You know, you mentioning that many guests on my previous shows, we always talk that, gosh, plumbers earn so much. They're from one job doing another job, and that from that job, another job. As you mentioned, I mean, when you're looking at financially, I mean, it's really, really rewarding.
It is. It's very rewarding, provided it's done right. It's not as clear cut as maybe getting a job at an accounting firm as an accountant and earning X amount. With the trades, you generally have to work your way up. But that's where the business skills comes in, right? That's where the entrepreneurship comes in. And in PE, there was a young guy there that attended my workshop, who said he wants to do home maintenance, but he doesn't have any qualifications. So I said, well, first start the business, then get the people around you who have the skills and channel them into your business, because that's what you need. And the most important thing, and us as people running homes with families, what's the thing we look for most is reliability, a good reputation. If you recommend someone to me and say, look, this guy who did some work for me, excellent, I will take that person rather than go and find somebody off the street. This is what people need to know. But yes, you're right. There are there's lots of work available, and there's big bucks to be made in that.
You know, when it comes to entrepreneurship, do you believe that is it? I mean, for everyone. And also, what kind of business can young people realistically start, especially those with limited resources?
Yeah. Okay. To answer your question, is entrepreneurship for everyone? Let me put it a different way. I think everyone is potentially capable of being an entrepreneur. And the logic behind this is, if you look at the pre-industrial era, everybody was an entrepreneur. Nobody went to work in big factories and big offices because there were no big factories and big offices. As a person growing up in your community, you would go and work with your dad in his shop or in his bakery or a metalworking shop or in a farm, and everybody ran these small village economies, and they that's how people survived. With the onset of the industrial revolution, that's where the big factories came. So people started working in the factories, and then the big offices, people started working there. And so this culture of going and getting a job was as recent as the late 1800s and early 1900s. That's where it came about, and we are kind of stuck in that mindset. But AI has given us a wake-up call now, that even those knowledge jobs that we were talking about are maybe not as secure as we thought they were. And so people are starting to think again about entrepreneurship. And then in terms of young people, I think, Sumaya, if you look at what some of the young people are doing with nothing more than a cell phone, you and I would be very envious. I know people who are making 30, 40,000 rands a month part-time with their cell phones. And I'm not talking anything dodgy. They just, some of them are buying and selling stuff. Some of them are doing services. I've got this one student who was doing web design for a company in the US. He was earning $1,000 a month. That's 18,000 rands a month for 2 hours of work. That's a phenomenal amount of money to be earning for 2 hours of work. And so, and I met an alim in Johannesburg who was telling me his son is 16 and he already earns more than his father. This is the kind of things that young people are getting into, and it's actually very encouraging to see them doing that. So yes, they are capable, and they are starting businesses with nothing, with no capital. Today, you don't need capital to start a business.
Exactly. Yeah. Do you know, when you're looking at schools, educators, families, how can we support these young people, entrepreneurship?
Firstly, I think we need to remove that stigma around entrepreneurship. We need to encourage our kids that, okay, working for that big company is great, but founding the next big company is even greater. Become a founder, start a business, because business is the future. And not just that, but there's a lot of barakah in business, because the Prophet ﷺ started his career as a businessman. and as a trader, and that's how he met his wife Hazrat Khadija radiallahu anha. So there's a lot of barakah in it, there's a lot of goodness in it, and we need to adopt a positive attitude to it and accept that not all our kids are going to get into office jobs. And even if they do get into office jobs, I mean, the way companies are chopping and changing these days, they could lose that job. But if they got business skills, they can always fall back on business.
Yeah. You know, the role of artificial intelligence, AI, and tech in the future. Let's talk about AI. What do you tell your learners, your students, about the impact of AI, will have on their futures? Some people see AI as a threat to their jobs. I know many haven't embraced it. So many of them feel it's Satan, it's the devil, it's Shaitan. Should young people be worried or excited?
I think it's a bit of both. I would say 70-30, 70% excitement and positivity, 30% concern. AI is a very, very powerful tool, but that's all it is. It's a tool. It's a tool for streamlining our work. It's a tool to help us think. It's a tool to help us with our businesses and our professions. And used right, it's a very, very powerful tool. I mean, at every level in my business since uh, 2 years ago when ChatGPT came out, at every level, people are using it. No one lost their jobs in my business. Everybody just became more efficient and found more free time. For example, my video editor, um, what used to take her maybe 4 or 5 hours to do, she's now able to do in half an hour. Do I pay her
Wow.
any less? No, because her deliverables are still there. The fact that she's streamlined is her prerogative, and it's a I shouldn't penalize her for that. So I think what my appeal to the young people that I speak to is use AI. It is a powerful tool. It's your ally. It's your friend. Use it, but learn to use it properly. Because the sense that I got is many of them are using it for idle chat, just to chat with somebody, and it's fun to do that. But it's like you're driving a BMW M3 at 40 kilometers per hour. This thing is capable of so much more. So I showed them how to use AI for decision making, and I mentioned to them that companies pay me big bucks to show them this, but I'm showing you this for free. So we it was an eye opener for them, and they were very happy about that.
Looking at AI as a tool, what are some practical ways learners and students can start using AI tools right now to grow their own skills or business?
Lovely. I love that question. Right. So immediately what they can do is to use AI to make one of the most important decisions of their life right now, which is what career or business to get into. And I show them step by step how to do that, how to use ChatGPT. So there are two elements to it. One is self knowledge, basically to understand who you are as a person, because today's young people are more uh, they're driven by something that gives them meaning. They are more people of passion. They do because they feel inclined to do something. They need purpose. They are purpose driven rather than just doing what they are told. So find what you are passionate about, and this is my appeal to them. Find something you are passionate about, or a few things, not just one, and then take these and have a chat with the AI. Put this all in and say, I am passionate about A, B, C, and D, and E. What career options are there for me? Prompt it properly. I showed them how to do these prompts. And then it will give you all the options that are possible for you. Then you can further interrogate the AI by asking it, okay, you've given me, like, for example, if I'm passionate about teaching and I'm passionate about technology, then I could teach people how to use technology efficiently. So you can ask the AI, what is the study pathway for me? How do I get to that point? What is the learning pathway that is alternative to university? And then again, it'll show you a whole detailed curriculum and a pathway how to get to that point. It's mind-boggling the kind of options there are for people who prompt the AI correctly.
When we're looking at barriers and mindset. Many students, like Port Elizabeth, looking even KwaZulu-Natal, Johannesburg, mm, basically most parts of the world, but let's focus on South Africa, face tough economic and social realities. How do we help them believe in alternative paths? How do we shift the mindset, of the critical young youth people to thrive in an age of AI?
Well, firstly, by talking about it, by creating awareness about it. I mean, I'm just one person, but there must be lots and lots of people out there who are doing digital business. I mean, my business is purely digital. We have not a single classroom. We have 300,000 students, but not a single classroom. We've got students all over the world. I run my business from my cell phone and nothing else. So I'm just one, but there are dozens and dozens of people. These people need to come out of the woodwork and go and speak to you and say, look, if I can do it, surely you can do it. I think that's the one thing. On a practical level, on a spiritual level, we need to remind them of the ayat that the shaitan promises you, "Ash-shaytanu ya'idukum al-faqr." The shaitan promises you poverty and makes you do things that are haram. But Allah promises you abundance if you trust in Him. So they must trust in Allah Ta'ala, and they must go out and do business. Make the effort. Don't hope for things to happen. Make things happen, and the doors will open for them. It's all there. There's enough for everyone.
Looking at our youth, looking at our audience, there's different audiences. What advice would you give to a student who is unsure about their future? I mean, right now many are, especially the grade 12 learners. What would you say to a parent who's worried, I think right now, of their child? They don't want to go to university.
So the first and most important thing I'll say to them is know your statistics, because one of the scariest statistics is this: that half of students entering first year of university drop out before the end of the year. Half, and only about 30% of them actually go into the second year. So the question is, what happens? Why does this happen? So there was a couple of surveys done with young people to ask them, why did you drop out? And the vast majority said there were a number of reasons, but the vast majority said, I think I made a wrong choice. So that's the problem. Most of the youth are making the wrong choice under pressure. They never learned self-awareness. They never learned how to make important decisions. They didn't learn decision-making skills. And what was given to them, university prospectus was just flung at them. University prospectus is not a map for your future. It's only the offerings that the university has. What if none of those define you? What if you define none of them appealing? Then what you're supposed to do? So this is why I say, learn decision-making skills. Use the AI, like I said earlier, to help you to make that decision. And start with yourself. Don't start with that university prospectus. Start with yourself. What are you passionate about? What would you love to do? Given all the money in the world, what would you do? What problem in the world would you like to solve? And then work forward from there. Find your path to that passion. And it doesn't have to be university.
For educators, parents, how can we prepare our children, our learners, the future leaders? What you're describing, how can we prepare them?
By firstly teaching them self-awareness, which is very important. By teaching them critical thinking skills, another very extremely important thing, both of which are not taught at school. By teaching them the proper ethical, intelligent use of AI, again, well, tech and AI, tech in general and AI specifically, again, not being taught at school. And fourthly, by teaching them how to take ownership of their own learning and to be self-learners, lifelong self-learners, meaning people who are able to learn by themselves without a teacher in front, who are able to make goals and targets for themselves in terms of their own learning and to grow. So these four things are unfortunately not taught at school. We need to introduce them at school.
Since we're talking about schools, just a message came through. I'm an educator, and my high school learners are just turning to AI to do essays, answer questions, do assessments. How do we deal with this? Aren't we making the kids lazy?
Well, actually, no. We're making them more efficient. See, there's a trade-off here now. And I'll give you an analogy, Sumaya. If you are running a business and you need some documents, and your one staff said, you know what, give me 3 days, I'll get you this document. The other one says, look, I'm going to use AI and I'll give it to you in 15 minutes. Which one are you going to approve? You're going to approve the 15-minute one because there's efficiency in that. Instead of waiting 3 days for the document, a proposal which your client is waiting for, in 15 minutes you can get it out there. So AI has given us a lot of efficiency. It's given us a lot of convenience. When it comes to school, that's a different story because when kids are using it for doing their essays and their research, on one level, we need to commend them for their creativity in using technology. But I get what the educator is saying, that there is an issue in terms of that plagiarism and using AI. But I did an educator workshop last week, and I said to them, what is the most important thing when you give the kids a research task to do? What is the most important thing? That they can present you something in writing, or that they can internalize, comprehend, and be able to communicate what they've learned? Isn't the latter more important? So if you give the kids, for example, an assignment to do, for example, go and study the Battle of Badr, and they come back, no matter how they researched it, we don't care how they researched it, but they are able to stand in front of the class and explain to the class, to the teacher at the class, that this is what happened in the Battle of Badr. Isn't that more important than the essay? I'll finish off that answer with something I read recently, which is, the world doesn't care where you got your knowledge. It does care how you use that knowledge. So if they got the knowledge from AI, or they got the knowledge from Google or from encyclopedias, not important. The fact that what they do with it, are they able to explain it? That's more important. So my appeal to the teacher is, don't become disheartened, but find different ways of assessing that they understand, that they've internalized the concepts.
Yeah. Going to personal reflections and inspirations, was there any moment during your school visits that really stood out for you? Do you have any stories or journeys to tell us where we can inspire our listeners, especially the youth who are, listening to us right now?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the whole thing was a highlight for me, right? I spoke to maybe about 2,500 learners over the course of 1 week. They were a mix of grade 9s and grade 12. So I strategically spoke to both types. The parts that stood out for me and the places where I was happiest was where the learners were forthcoming, where they were openly communicative, where they would speak to me. I mean, different schools have different sort of personalities, right? And some schools you go to, the learners are all hushed; they just stare at you. In other schools, they are very conversant. So those were my highlights. When the learners were conversant, when they would speak, when they would freely talk about their challenges and their issues and their deep fears and their concerns. So those were my highlights. And among those, there were some amazing learners. I met the one who was 15 years old, and him and his 11-year-old brother, along with their mum, was doing one of my coding courses that was meant for adults, the FNB App Academy that my school IT Varsity is running, is meant for adults, for career seekers. But these two kids, 11 and 15 years old, and their mum were doing this course together as a team. I was mind boggled. Then I met a grade 9 learner who's running 2 businesses while he's still in grade 9. That I found very, very inspiring, because I mean, if he can do it while being in grade 9 and run 2 businesses, where's our excuse, really? So that was another one. And there was this um, the one kid who, okay, it was another kid who was also, I think, in grade 12, and also running a very successful business. And he had been running it for the past couple of years. So these guys really, they came from difficult backgrounds, but they really made something of themselves. And, I encourage the your listeners, the young people and the parents and the teachers, reach out to me, talk to me. I want to know what is going on in your minds. I want to know what is going on in our community.
You actually running seminars and workshops on digital entrepreneurship. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these are to open people's eyes to what is the possibility with technology these days. So my workshops revolve more around the digital business skills, rather than being prescriptive about what type of business, because really it doesn't matter. You could be running a vegetable garden, or you could be doing some sewing, or you could be a plumber, or you could be selling gadgets or shoes or clothing. It all, at the heart of it, is digital entrepreneurship skills, because you're doing the same business activities. You are doing product development, you're doing marketing, you're doing sales, you're doing customer relationship. It's all there. So my aim is to go to pretty much every town in South Africa. Well, I've been invited to Guatemala to do the same thing also, but let's start with South Africa. I've been, if I can help it, I'll go to every town running these workshops. Just open people's eyes. Stop thinking in the old-fashioned sense. Like in my workshop last week, there's this couple that said they want to start a shawarma business, but rents are so expensive. I said, well, why do you need premises? Why do you need premises to start a shawarma business? You can start your shawarma business from home with nothing more than your cell phone. I mean, if you think of Debonair's, they're such a big group, but they started from home. It was a home-based pizza company, and then they grew out of out of their homes. My business started off in a garage, but today, Alhamdulillah, we've gone too big for any garage. So that's my appeal, and that's what I teach them, and I show them, in the workshop, that with nothing more than a cell phone, with little to no capital, you can start a very successful business. It just takes a bit of know-how and a lot of effort, and you'll get there.
We have messages coming, and I'm an educator teaching for 32 years. I just cannot embrace artificial intelligence. I still prefer pen and paper, and I'm not ready for this. What advice you got for my colleagues who feel exactly the same? Well, she's saying the truth.
She's saying the truth, and I respect that, and I understand. I understand where you're coming from. It is daunting. It is scary. Take baby steps. A lot of our this kind of feelings come from a base of fear, and that fear comes from a lack of knowledge. What I suggest is, don't listen to the hype out there. That's also very scary, because on one end of the scale you'll hear things like AI is useless, and on the other end of the scale you're going to hear things like AI is so powerful it's going to destroy the human race. All that is nonsense, trash media hype. Pick up a phone, go into ChatGPT, ask it one question. That's all. Just one question. What do you think about the weather in Durban today? Something simple and mundane. And set yourself on that journey and just start learning it. And you'll see that slowly, as you become more used to it, the fear will fall away, and it will be replaced by the the obvious benefits of it. I mean, think about WhatsApp, right? None of us think anything about WhatsApp, but WhatsApp is super advanced technology. But does anybody think about it like that? No, because we've overcome that fear a long time ago, and we're also proficient with it, that there's no fear left, there's no uncertainty left. So my advice to young and old people, and I met people across the board who are afraid of technology, it's because of your lack of knowledge. Just learn a little every day, and you'll see you become very comfortable with it.
Now, for everyone who's listening, everyone who's listening out there who want to know how do we do ChatGPT, everyone's wondering how do you do it, and believe me, so many people don't know how to do it. So, can you tell us how do we download it, or what do they do from their cell phones?
Yeah, you have to firstly you have to be careful of apps behaving or acting as if they are ChatGPT. They are not. Go to your app stores. Go to the app stores. If you're using an iPhone, go to the Apple App Store. Download it from the App Store and make sure that you're downloading ChatGPT that is created by a company called OpenAI. Download it onto your device and use it. If you're using Android, go to the Google Play Store. Again, ChatGPT. With the apps, they show you who's the maker of the app right in the App Store. It's a company called OpenAI. If there's any other name there, do not download it. It's a scam. So download it and install it on your device and start using it. There's a free tier, an extremely useful free tier. You can get the paid tier afterwards if you're using it for business, like I do for business and training. But the free tier is enough. And it's so easy to use. All you've got there is a little chat box there, just like your WhatsApp, and you talk to it. Hello, ChatGPT, how are you today? And you listen to it. There's also a voice mode now where you don't even have to type. You can just press the microphone key there, and you talk to it, and it talks back to you as if it's a human being. You can actually change the voice and opt for different male voices or female voices also. It's a lot of fun. Try it.
Okay, we have messages coming in, so many, quite a few. This message says, Salams, as an ex-teacher of 32 years, I feel AI is overrated and overplayed. As the previous teacher said, chalk and talk normally. This comes from Brother Qasim Muhammad Jasset.
I agree to an extent. It is overly hyped. People tend to, take it too far. That AI is going to take over the world's weapon systems, and AI is going to come after human beings and things. Yeah, it's madness. It's madness. One guy even claims that AI is going to come alive. This is all insanity. What I'll say is this: think of a spade, right? A spade is a tool. You can use that tool for good. You can use that tool for bad. AI is just like that. It's a tool, but rather than a spade, which is a physical tool, this is a mental tool. Use it for good. Use it for your benefit. Use it for fun. Use it for careers.
Your final thoughts, if a young person is listening to us right now and feeling lost, what's the one thing you'd want them to remember? How can people follow, your work and get in touch with you? Also that.
Yeah, okay. So firstly, what I want them to remember, I want them to remember that there is a lot of hope, there's a lot of positive vibe, there's a lot of great things that are happening, and your future is bright. Your future is bright. If you are familiar with technology, don't use the technology just for entertainment and fun. Start figuring ways to use it for careers and for business, for starting your own business. I think young people are they're extremely good with technology, but they just need to learn how to use it for personal gain, which is important. How to get in touch with me? I'm on WhatsApp. I'm on TikTok. Shall I share my handles? Are you okay if I share my handles, Sumaya?
Yeah.
So my TikTok handle is Bilal Katz. Bilal, Bilal Katz. You can follow me now. Or you can drop me a message. My WhatsApp number is 086 888 54858. 086 888 54858.
Jazakallah for linking up with us, and to all the listeners who are right there right now, they can catch Bilal KATRADA on School Matters and the seminar which we'll be having in August. Radio Ansaar School Matters AI seminar, and you are one of our VIP special guests, imparting your knowledge. So we're looking forward for having you very soon in August.
I'm looking forward to it. It's a rare time, and I will be in Durban. And come and listen to me. Come and ask me your questions. I'll be very, very happy to answer your questions. And that's just before I leave for Guatemala and then Sri Lanka and then Mauritius. So it's going to be fun. Take advantage of me while I'm around.
Jazakallah so much for linking up with us. And inshallah, looking forward to meet you again at our seminar, AI seminar.
Inshallah. Likewise. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Well, that was quite inspiring, I'd like to thank, our guest, extended heartfelt thank you to our guest, Brother Bilal KATRADA, for sharing his valuable insights, use of digital technology and AI to explore future careers and professions. You've reminded us that we shouldn't be afraid of AI, but rather strive to understand its better and embrace its opportunities. Not forgetting our tech Asif, who always makes school matters so relaxing. I don't feel like I'm in the classroom. I'd like to thank everyone who's involved. Well, School Matters is definitely having an AI seminar workshop, so you constantly look at our WhatsApp and you will get all the details in time to come. My email address is sumayakhan.alansar@outlook.com. AI is not there to replace us, but to empower us to achieve more. The future belongs to those who learn, unlearn, and relearn. AI won't replace you. A person using AI will replace you. From me, Sumaya Khan, till the next show. Assalamu alaikum.
Coming from way up above. It's a love feeling. Heavenly sweet. And on that celestial day,
Teaching you something new every day. Radio Al-Ansar.
Radio Al-Ansar, 24/7, 365.
An informative Islam.